Welcome back to Mike's Rusty Finds. Today we're going to be working on the ignition switch of this thing. Sometimes when you turn it off, it doesn't want to turn it all the way off and take the key out, so the key is stuck in, which is really inconvenient. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to disconnect this battery and then dig into the steering column. We have already taken the outer shell off the outside. There's just a few screws you got to take off. And what we need to do is pull this fuse box here. And there's a screw that we have to take off right there. Okay. Let's get Mr. Screw undone. We'll put that down there like that. And we're gonna try to get this guy out. Well, maybe this screw needs to come out too. If you're really smart, drop it in the dirt, never to be found again. Okay. Well, come on. Let's get your deal. Yeah, I think we got another screw we gotta take out. And just like that. Now, well, with any luck, I can break something. Oh, give me a minute. I'll figure out why this thing won't cooperate. Okay, so my phone overheated. There was this panel that came out of here, and there was another screw up in here that I had to take off. So the panel's all off. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and lower this. And there's some bolts up underneath the steering column that we're going to undo, and we're going to drop the steering column down and start taking this thing apart. Okay, there's two number 12 bolts that got to come out. There's one of them, and there's one on the other side. We're going to take those out and drop the column down, start taking this thing apart. Okay, I've dropped the steering column here, and now we can get at all this stuff. We need to unplug all these plugs and start switching this thing over. And because it's the way it's made, these bolts here need to come out, and they shear off when you tighten them. So we're going to get a chisel and work on these things to try to get them undone. Okay, I tried to get you best view I possibly could. Okay, they tell you to drill these out, but I'm going to use a chisel, and I just can't do it with the phone in the way, so I'll be back when they're out. So now that I got half of my car tore apart, there was some tap lines and everything, and I think this is like an aftermarket security system, because somebody's definitely been into all this. So we're going to, I took the sill plate off, and I'm going to have to loosen up the fuse box to try to get this plug undone. So give me a minute and we'll see what we can tear apart. Well, now that escalated quickly. This old ignition has several tap lines into it that I'm guessing is the alarm system. So I've numbered all the connectors as I take them off, cut things away, so that I know how it goes back together. And I'm thinking it might be a good idea to rig the new ignition in, kind of plug it in, see if it starts. We'll start there. Wish me luck. Well, it's about a week later, and after changing the ignition switch on this 2000 Honda Accord, apparently my problem is in the center console, because it still locks up every once in a while. It won't let me release the key. So after doing some further digging, I have to take this center console apart. So I'm not going to bore you with tearing this thing apart. And we'll get in here and see what we can fix. Well, most of the plastics and stuff came out here. Look, the car is filthy. This came off, and I need to get this plastic piece off here and expose the screws under there. Since I don't have a pick, I'm going to be just trying to figure out whatever I can to get this thing undone so I can move this. I'm kind of wondering whether I could just take and spray some lubricant in here and call it good, but I think I'd rather clean it out. It's really a pain. This key gets stuck. Okay, we got the plate off, and got a couple screws here to take off, a couple screws up here, and then whatever's hidden further up here. I think we got a couple way up in there that got to come off. So we can move this thing out of the way. Boy, amazing, the stuff that drops down in your center console over 26 years. Alright, be back when I get this off. There are a couple of screws on the side of this console that it looks like the seats might have to be removed to get them out. So I'm leaning towards spraying a little tri-flow in there, lubricating it up and putting it all back together and see if that fixes the problem. So I think we're going to put this mess all back together after cleaning everything a little bit. And then that's what I'm going to go with. Because it just doesn't seem like it's worth it. And if it still happens, then I guess I'll remove the seats, or I'll get a little L driver to get in there and take those screws out. Well, that's escalated quickly. Turns out I don't need to deal with these screws down below, but it's still attached up in here. So we're going to need to take these panels off here and over here to finish getting this center console out. I've been trying to take the stuff inside and wash it and clean it a little bit as I go, so hopefully when I get it all back together, then it's all nice and clean and functioning. Okay, you need to remove the fuse panel cover here and remove a screw here, and then back in here to loosen this guy up. And it comes apart with these clips. And I suspect, if I remember right, there's another screw up in here somewhere. Give me a minute, I'll get this thing off. Okay, with both panels undone, I can undo the screws on the front of the console, and the whole console will lift out. We're going to prop up this center console so that I can work on down here. And we're going to get our special center console prop, specifically made for Hondas. Nope, just a jack handle. And then we'll get down in here and take a look at what we got. Okay, in here is a mechanism that locks that allows the key to go all the way unlocked. See that little guy moving down there? we are going to take some Tri-Flow synthetic grease and stick in there with Q-tips. And then we're going to drive the car for a few days. Make sure that this thing isn't jamming up again. So I'm going to need 2 hands to do this. So I will come back when it's all greased up. Okay, you can look down in here. If I can get this thing to focus. Come on now. Don't have enough hands. You see that little thing going back and forth? That's what's going to allow the key to come out at the 0 position. You can see that I've gotten some grease, some silicone grease on it. And so we're just going to drive this thing around for a few days and see if this fixes my problem. So I'm going to just kind of set the center console back in here and vacuuming out a little bit, and then I think I'm going to leave everything kind of loose and laying around just in case I have a problem. Anyway, thank you for watching Mike's Rusty Finds. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.